Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, let's jump right in. Today, we're on episode 10 of our 11-part Explainer series, and we are unpacking some truly profound insights from chapter 10 of Breeze Dong's book, A Soulful Transition, Finding Heart-Led Career in the Age of AI. So, if you're a leader who's just been running hard, adapting to every single market shift and managing this absolutely relentless pace of change, I want you to just take a deep exhale right now. Imagine for the next few minutes that we are stepping completely out of the boardroom and we're just sitting together by a crackling fire.
We aren't here today to cram another complicated framework into your brain. We're really just here to remember. Because if you're leading teams today, let's be honest, you've probably lived several lives in this one career already. You've been the striver, the strategist, the ultimate fixer. You've adapted to corporate systems that promised all this meaning, only to watch the rules completely change right as you reach the finish line. And now? Well, with AI accelerating literally everything, you might be feeling a really strange mix of genuine awe at the technology, alongside this deep, vibrating unease in your bones.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this haunting question that lives quietly beneath all of our polished boardroom talk about AI productivity and automation layers. Nobody actually says it out loud in the strategy meetings, right? But it is absolutely moving through everyone, from the newest intern all the way up to the CEO. When a machine can draft the entire strategy or analyze a massive deal in seconds, the anchor of our identity is suddenly cut loose.
What we're actually experiencing here, it's grief. A subtle grief no one names. It's not the big, dramatic kind. It's the quiet, persistent kind that just sort of settles heavily in your shoulders. For decades, we fully believed that our effort guaranteed our relevance. We built our entire identities around our output. Think of a senior executive who successfully automated his division, hitting all his metrics, but felt smaller, grieving the loss of his identity as the protector of the people. When effort no longer equals relevance, we feel this profound, undeniable restlessness.
Breeze Dong hits the nail on the head here. She says, if we are nothing more than the sum of our cognitive output, then we were always, in a sense, machines. Wow, that hits hard, doesn't it? But here's the thing, AI hasn't actually created this grief. Not at all. It has simply removed the distractions that kept us from noticing it. It's pulled back the curtain on a truth we've been actively avoiding. AI is actually an invitation to find the human heart that was beating underneath the suit all along. So let's get into section 1, when intelligence becomes abundant, when smart isn't enough. For generations, being the expert leader, the one who could think through uncertainty and outsmart the competition, was our primary refuge. Intelligence was our ultimate currency. But what happens when intelligence is suddenly everywhere, when a machine can parse a lifetime of data in a literal second? This mirror asks us a much deeper question. If intelligence is no longer scarce, what is? Now, the temptation is to throw out buzzwords, right? Oh, it's soft skills, or empathy, or creativity. But even those can just become another exhausting checklist of skills to master. The true scarcity, what is becoming rarer by the very day, is the capacity to stay present with complex, conflicting truths without fragmenting. Which brings us to this amazing concept called presencing. Now, to be clear, presencing isn't just corporate mindfulness. It's not sitting in a lotus position for 15 minutes so you can be a more productive worker bee. Not at all. It is an active and sometimes dangerous willingness to be an available person, available to the real pain of layoffs, available to the terrifying uncertainty of a shifting market. It's the sheer courage to pause when action feels like the only safe harbor. And this brilliantly illustrates the dividing line between human and machine. Machines process, humans presence. AI can analyze 1 billion data points, sure, but it cannot suffer the consequences of a decision. It cannot sit awake at night wrestling with integrity. It doesn't have a nervous system. In a world of perfect, hyper-efficient algorithms, the leader who can actually stand in the room and hold the weight of a moment without flinching is the only one who can truly be trusted. I absolutely love this distinction. It's a total pattern interrupt. True leadership grounding isn't about slapping on a fake mask of Zen-like dissociation. Presencing does not ask you to be calm. It asks you to be real. It asks you to feel the tremors in your hands before a difficult town hall, to feel the heavy moral weight of a board decision, without being completely overwhelmed by it. It is all about restoring your inner authority. Let's look at a real-world example of this. Picture Marcus, a CEO, facing a massive divestiture. Every single spreadsheet, every model, and every highly paid consultant said this was an obvious, no-brainer yes. The efficiency gains were totally undeniable. The
The pressure to just delegate his authority to the data was immense.
So what do? The algorithm is elegant, it's confident, and it's fast. But Marcus's body, his human instinct, was hesitant. What do you actually do when the data confidently says one thing, but your nervous system is screaming another?
Well, Marcus waited. He walked the factory floors. He listened. And he realized that while the divestiture was optimal for the balance sheet, it would deeply fracture the company's social contract. So he said no. It was slower, for sure, and it cost more in the short term, but it was the profoundly right human choice. No system can carry the ethical weight of a decision. Only a human being can do that.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 2, synthesis, holding the wholeness, the power of synthesis. Because if presencing is the courage to stay, synthesis is the patience to see.
We kind of confuse synthesis with just being smart, the ability to connect a bunch of ideas. But synthesis is actually an act of belonging. It's allowing work and love, ambition and grief, metrics and meaning to all sit at the exact same table. It is literally the cure for our deeply fragmented corporate world, where we so often separate efficiency from ethics and the business side from the people side.
You see, AI optimizes in total isolation. It aggregates. An AI can aggregate 10,000 market reports in under 3 seconds to find a common thread. But it hasn't lived a single day. Human synthesis is entirely different. It requires embodied memory, the genuine wisdom of having lived through change. It requires judgment shaped by consequence, and values that have actually been tested in the fire of reality. Synthesis implicitly answers the questions an algorithm can never even ask, like, what do we value enough to protect, even at the cost of profit?
To see synthesis in action, let's talk about Robert, a highly respected elder statesman in the corporate world. He was offered a very visible, strategic board chair role. On paper, it made perfect sense. Everyone around him assumed it was a done deal. But Robert told his coach that something essential inside him had just gone quiet. He was tired of closing questions too quickly.
Instead of rushing to say yes, Robert waited. For weeks, he walked every single morning without a phone, without a podcast, without a plan. He simply sat with the extreme discomfort of not knowing. And out of that very quiet space, a profound question finally emerged. What am I here to serve now, not prove?
And his choice? It surprised everyone. He declined the role. But it wasn't a retreat at all. By saying no, Robert returned to a sense of deep, internal coherence. He wasn't running ahead of life anymore. He was finally standing with it. He aligned his external actions with his internal truth. So the crucial point is, AI demands millisecond resolution. It accelerates choice and offers instant, perfectly calculated clarity. But human wisdom deeply respects timing. It knows that some truths absolutely cannot be forced. They just have to ripen.
All right, let's get incredibly practical here. Section 3, the wisdom audit, applying the lessons. We're going to do a quick audit together right now.
Take a look at your upcoming week. Step 1, name the scarcity. Where are you spending your energy just processing data versus actually presencing and sensing the unspoken vibes of your team? Step 2, the table of self. Is there a part of you, maybe the parent, the spiritual seeker, the friend, that is completely excluded from your leadership style? Let them sit at the table. And finally, step 3, the wait. Pick one major decision on your desk right now and commit to not resolving it for 24 hours. Just breathe with the messy complexity of it.
As you sit with that decision, ask yourself this one final, provocative question. Am I choosing this to be clever or to be true? In an age where machines are always going to outprocess us, your ultimate competitive advantage is not your speed. It's your capacity to stay, to see the whole picture, and to act in deep, undeniable alignment. The future is deep, my friends. Let's keep walking.